वनं गगनं सकलं शरणं ಶರಣಂ ಉಸಿರನು ಕಾಯಲು ಹಸಿರನು ನೀಡಿದ ಇರುಳನು ನೀಗಲು ಹಗಲನು ನೀಡಿದ ಶರಣು ಎನಲು ಇವನು ಒಲಿದು ಬರುವ ಎದುರು ನಿಲ್ಲಲು ಇವನು ಮುನಿದೆ ಬಿಡುವ ಭುವನಂ ಗಗನಂ सकलं शरणं अखिलं निखिलं शिवने शरणं. Thank you.
Thank you, Protractor Akshit. It was a very melodious rendition to the Almighty. Now I request Protractor Pooja to present the four-way test as I present it on the screen. Do we have Protractor Pooja here?
Yes.
Pooja, you can unmute yourself.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Pooja, please proceed.
So it's my privilege to administrate the rotary four-way test. So please repeat this after me. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you.
Thank you, Pooja. Proceeding ahead, I request the Projects 3 Chair, IBP Protractor Apurva NH, to present the welcome address to the gathering.
Good evening, all. It's my pleasure to see you all over here today for this wonderful informative session of thyroid disorders in women. I welcome our resource person of the day, Dr. Nandini Ravindran. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
I welcome our President Protractor Srinidhi. Welcome, Srinidhi. I welcome the presence of Rotarian Meenakshi Bharat. I would like to recognize it. Welcome, ma'am. I would like to recognize the presence of Rotarian John Daniel, sir. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Apurva.
And the President-elect of Rotary Club of Bangalore, Kalyan, Rotractor Vivin. Welcome, Vivin. And
Thank you.
Past President of RCBS, it's glad to have you here, Rotractor Nishchit. Sorry, only Nishchit.
Yeah, thank you.
I welcome everybody for joining this session. I welcome you all.
I'd also like to recognize the presence of Secretary Protractor Lavanya and President-elect Protractor Manaswini and my colleagues in the teaching fraternity who are here and the Protractors and Rotarians who have joined. Thank you all for joining. Moving ahead with the agenda, I request Protractor Darshan to introduce our guest of honor today, Dr. Nandini Ravindran. Protractor Darshan, please do the honor.
Yes, Srinidhi. Dr. Nandini Ravindran graduated from Stanley Medical College in 2006 and completed her MD Obstetrics and Gynecology from Gandhi Medical College in 2010. She went on to do DNB in Obstetrics and Gynecology in 2013, advanced training in endoscopy and laparoscopic surgery in 2017, underwent advanced infertility training in Milan in 2018. Her extensive work in this field started as a senior resident at SRMC, Chennai for 2.5 years. She was a junior consultant at Bethesda Hospital for 2 years and assistant professor at Vaidehi Institute of Medical Sciences and Research Center for 4.5 years. Her husband is an orthopedic specialist practicing at Aster RV Hospital for several years. Both of them run their own private practice at Cambridge Layout, Bangalore for quite some time now. Ma'am has 2 young girls who go to Montessori and are super energetic and charming. Her favorite pastimes include cooking and listening to music. I once again heartfully welcome you to this meeting, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the introduction.
Thank you, ma'am.
We are waiting to listen to you, ma'am. I will be presenting the screen for your benefit.
Yes.
Hope the screen is visible now.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Okay. So thank you everyone for inviting me. Okay. It's happy to see all the young faces and taking such an initiative. So coming directly to our topic today. Today's topic is thyroid disorders in women.
Ma'am, I'm sorry. I guess your audio is not audible to us. Can you have it try again?
Hello.
I guess it is not connected, or there seems to be some disconnection in the audio.
No, it's connected only. I can hear you. Hello. Hello.
Apurva, correct me if I'm wrong, or if it is only me who is facing the problem.
No, the audio is coming, but it is very loud.
It's very feeble,
Not able to
mom.
hear you.
Maybe
Yes.
it is not plugged in properly, if I'm not wrong, or can you try without the earphones? Is it possible without earphones?
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Now you are audible to us.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Are you able to hear us?
Okay. Yes, I am also able to.
Okay. Before I could request ma'am to continue, I have a small request in secretary or IPP. Please have a look at the chat box because I won't be able to access it. Thank you. And ma'am, please continue.
Yes. Okay. So today's topic is thyroid disorders in women. Okay. So why this topic is essential is, so many women in their life face this problem, thyroid problem. Okay, and it is easy to diagnose and also to treat. So that's why this, when they know what is the symptoms and when to be tested, so we can proceed with the treatment. Okay. So next slide. Okay. So what is a thyroid gland? The thyroid gland is an endocrine gland. It is situated right in front of the neck, a butterfly shaped gland. Okay. So such a small endocrine gland, which is controlled by a master gland in the brain, that is pituitary gland. Next slide. Yeah. The function of the thyroid gland is to secrete thyroid hormones. So thyroid hormones, which are T3 and T4 hormones, the secretion control is by the thyroid stimulating hormones from the anterior pituitary gland. Okay, so the anterior pituitary gland will secrete thyroid stimulating hormone, which in turn will cause the thyroid gland to secrete the thyroid hormone. Next slide. So what is the function of the thyroid gland? The thyroid gland secretes two important hormones, that is T3 and T4, triiodothyronine and thyroxine. If you see, these hormones have control on many major organs in the body, like heart, brain, temperature regulation, muscles, intestine, skin, nails, hair, and sleep patterns also. That is why the deficiency of thyroid can result in multiple symptoms. Okay, next slide. Okay, so what are we know what is now thyroid gland, okay, and what the thyroid gland secretes. So what is the deficiency state, or what is the disease state in the thyroid gland? If the thyroid hormones are deficient or secreted in a lesser amount, it is called as an hypothyroidism. If the thyroid hormone is secreted in an like higher amount, it is called as a hyperthyroidism. Okay, so next slide. So basically, all of us are consuming iodized salt. Okay, everyone will be using iodized salt at home. So what is this iodine or iodized salt is? The fortification is iodine. Why it is done? Because iodine is an essential micronutrient. Okay, so it is required for the synthesis of thyroid hormones, the T3 and T4 hormones, and it is very essential for the fetus and the neonates, the metabolism in the brain. Okay, so These are all the dietary requirement allowance daily. Okay, how much the children or the adult or the pregnant women required iodine in the food. So next slide. So what is the Indian map showing the shaded areas or where the soil is deficient in iodine. Okay, so basically these shaded areas have a deficient in the deficiency of iodine in the soil. So that's why what our government did is they done iodization of the salt so that it reaches for everyone. Okay, next slide. So this is the initiative taken by the government. So thus the iodine is fortified into the food, which is salt, which everyone has to use it. So that iodized fortification is done by the government. From it started from 1986, so that like everyone gets iodized salt, and this iodine is an important component in the preparation of the thyroid hormones, which is secreted from the thyroid gland. Okay, next slide. Okay, so what is the function of the thyroid hormone? I told it controls all the major metabolism in the body. Okay, and deficiency state is called as hypothyroidism, and when it's secreted more, it causes hyperthyroidism. Okay, so first we will see what is hypothyroidism and what is hyperthyroidism. Next, we will go to the disorders that is specific for women. Okay, so the primarily hypothyroidism, I said it is caused by the deficiency in the iodine, and other most common cause is an autoimmune thyroiditis. Autoimmune thyroiditis means the antibodies produced against the own cells, which will cause destruction in the thyroid gland and reduction in the production of the thyroid hormone. Okay, so that is the other causes of hypothyroidism is the congenital causes or some radiation or history of any removal of the thyroid gland or any drugs, any anti-thyroid drugs. Okay, so next coming to the symptoms of hypothyroidism. So symptoms, so these are all like it's a generalized symptoms. So most patients who have the insufficiency of the thyroid hormones will have like intolerance to cold. Okay, intolerance to cold, hair loss, fatigue, dull, increased sleepiness, constipation, and anorexia, hair fall, and bradycardia, and all these are the symptoms of hypothyroidism. So when there is the thyroid deficiency in the hormones, these symptoms like this weight gain, increased sleeping, fatigueness, lethargy, and hair loss, all will be like it will start. Okay, so next slide. So next coming to hyperthyroidism. Hyperthyroidism, as I told, is the condition where there is an increase in the secretion of the thyroid hormone. So this is caused, the most common cause is the Graves' disease. Okay, so hypothyroidism, Hashimoto's, I told, this Graves' disease is also an autoimmune disease, that is antibody formed against the same gland. So other causes are like nodular goitus, thyroiditis, or any adenomas. Okay, so this will cause an increased secretion. So next slide, what will be the symptom of a patient with an hyperthyroidism? This symptom is exactly opposite to the hypothyroidism. There I said they will have an intolerance to cold, here intolerance to heat, and weight loss. There I told weight gain. So in here increased heartbeat, in hypo there is decreased heartbeat, tremors, diarrhea, and menstrual changes, and bulging eyes. So these are all the symptoms of hyperthyroidism. So now we have seen what is thyroid gland. Okay, what are the function of the thyroid gland? What is the micronutrient necessary for the thyroid gland to form its hormones? What are the deficiencies state and what are its symptoms? What is the result? I mean, what happens when it hypersecretes and what are its symptoms? Okay, so this is common to everyone. Now we are going to see what is the specifically how it affects a woman. Okay, so next slide. So in the women, thyroid has an influence on the reproductive system. So hypothyroid is associated, that is, commonly if you see hypothyroidism, that is the deficiency state is more common than the hyperthyroidism. 8 times the hypothyroidism is more common, and the occurrence of hypothyroidism in female is more common compared to a male. In general, if 10 women is affected with the hypothyroidism, you can see only one male can affected with this. So that's why the influence of thyroid hormone on a female is more common. So it can cause menstrual disturbances, infertility, miscarriage, and other complications of pregnancy. So next slide. So now I'm going to discuss about at what all stages in the life a woman can get these thyroid problems. Okay, so first pubertal stage, and we'll discuss in the reproductive age group, and then going to the menopausal stage. Okay, so puberty, like when a girl started to have her menstrual cycle, that is the time she will have a lot of growth happening, and the demand for the increased metabolism will be there. So when that time, if the iodine is deficiency, then again the thyroid problem will start. So the girl can present with increased weight gain or increased sleepiness, fatigue, and low performance in school, and also menstrual disturbances. Menstrual disturbances both can occur, that is increase, that is heavy menstrual bleeding, or a scanty menses. So when any of the girls are facing these problems, it is better to go for a thyroid test. Usually anemia can also associate. Anemia means decrease in the hemoglobin concentration. So that is the pubertal age. Coming to the reproductive age group, pregnancy and infertility I will discuss. Okay, first is pregnancy. Next slide. Okay, so pregnancy and thyroid disorders. So pregnancy, why it is important is during pregnancy, that is in the early part of the pregnancy, the growing baby up to 3 to 5 months, it's entirely depend on the mother's thyroid hormone for its metabolism, which is helpful in the development of the brain. Okay, so if at that time the woman is deficient, then it will affect the growing baby's brain and the brain and other metabolisms. Okay, so that is why whenever a woman become pregnant, usually all the obstetricians will write for a thyroid test. So when it is detected early and treated, we don't see much of any complications. It is so the normalcy of the thyroid is essential throughout the pregnancy. So if in an untreated woman, what are the complication we can see if there is an hypothyroid state? Usually they can go for a miscarriage or a low birth weight baby, and a high blood pressure in pregnancy, and there will be a deficiency in the growth and development of the baby, and anemia. They can become a low performer in the school later also. Okay, because for the first 5 months, the baby is entirely dependent upon the mother for its thyroid hormone. So whatever it should be detected and treated earlier. Next slide. So this is the usually when a baby which is born congenital hypothyroidism, we call them as a cretin child. So you can see the muscle weakness, we call it as an hernia. Okay, thickness of muscle. And they will be little bit low IQ. I can say like mentally retarded. These child are called as like cretin child. We see all these complications in a very severely untreated hypothyroidism, which we see very rarely nowadays. Okay, next slide. So, so coming to the infertility part. Infertility means couple who are facing difficult to conceive. Okay, so if these people when they go for like further workup why they are not able to conceive, many of them will have a thyroid problem. So the thyroid thing will inhibit or interfere in their ovulation part, that is the release of the egg will be interfere in this infertility couple. So it is better to go for a thyroid checkup, correct it, and then plan for a conception. Then coming to a menopausal age group. So this menopausal age, what is menopause? Is cessation of the menstruation. So cessation of menstruation. So before going for a menopause, there will be a perimenopausal transition. So each woman will have lot of hormonal changes. The ovary will stop functioning, stop releasing its hormones. So that is another time where the again the thyroid function will become deficient. So same thing, they can have intolerance to a cold or a dry skin or constipations, increase hair loss, mood swings, increase lethargy, weight gain. Okay, so this is another time where a hypothyroid will come into they can develop an hypothyroidism. Okay, so next slide. So now we have seen like what and all a thyroid problem, thyroid disorder can cause in a woman. So mostly hypothyroidism is common, that is a decreased secretion of the thyroid hormones. So it can occur at the pubertal stage or in a pregnancy woman, or in the patient who are like in the menopausal stage also. So but hyperthyroidism is a little bit more complicated thing. We don't see much hyperthyroidism. Hypo is a common state. Okay, now coming to like patients are having some symptoms, or how to go about how it is the thyroid test is done and what test to be done for assessing the thyroid function. It is a very simple blood test which is available in every lab, that is called as thyroid function test. What they are going to assess is how much thyroid hormones, that is T3 and T4, are there in the blood. Okay, so when the T3, T4 levels are low, the TSH levels, that is secreted from the pituitary, will be high. That stage is called as hypothyroidism. That is T3 and T4 levels will be less. Okay, so another thing is when the T3 and T4 thyroid hormones are very high, it is called as hyperthyroidism. In that case, TSH will be less. So basically, these are the two important things. If they are suspecting some autoimmunity or any other thing, then they can go for other higher tests like PPO antibodies or thyroglobulin antibodies or radioiodine uptake studies for Graves' disease, that is like hyperthyroidism. Okay, so assessing how it is assessed is usually that is done by the blood test. Symptoms will start like in otherwise, like whenever there is a symptoms you can go and check, but in pregnancy we don't wait for the symptoms to appear. Whenever she becomes a pregnancy positive, immediately we ask for a thyroid test along with the other test. Okay, and how frequently the test has to be done? If you are diagnosed as a hypothyroidism and you are on treatment, immediately after treatment you require a frequent monitoring, because you have to try to titrate which dose the patient is responding. After that, it is every 6 months. But in pregnancy, every 6 months we have to assess. Every 3 months we have to assess the thyroid status. Okay, so now we know like what is thyroid gland, what it is secreting, what are the deficiencies or disease state, and now what test has to be done and how frequently it has to be done. Now coming to the treatment part, how the whatever deficient state or the excessive state, how it is treated. Next slide. Okay, so the treatment, so treatment is again, it's a very simple. So the whatever the thyroid hormones, it's available in a the treatment is we have to supplement the deficient hormone. The deficient hormone now it is available in a tablet form. So whichever dose you are starting, depending upon your levels, blood levels, they will start from low dose and increase slowly to a higher dose. Whichever level that hormone is maintaining its normalcy, that will be continued. Okay, so the treatment part is also very simple. The tablet is available everywhere. That hormone is available in a small tablet form. Daily we have to take it in an empty stomach for more absorption. So that is the treatment. Okay, next. So so most of the part like hypothyroid, like decreased secretion or an excessive secretion, for both we have tablets. Okay, so that's the thing. And next slide. Okay, so now coming to the common questions which the public will have. Okay, so is thyroid disorder familial? That means whether thyroid disorder can run in family. Suppose a mother has, can her daughter can have? Yes, I told something called as autoimmune thyroiditis. that is Hashimoto's disease. That can run in family, not the deficiency thing, but the Hashimoto's thyroiditis will run in family. To check that the other that antibodies tests are available, but this autoimmune thyroiditis can run in families, and this autoimmune thyroiditis can also cause increased chances of miscarriages and infertility. Next. Okay, so many people will ask like what food I should eat? I have thyroid. Is there anything that is specific thyroid is available in a I should avoid it? Okay, so the next slide. So the food which is rich in iodine is seafood, like sea fish and cod liver oil, small amount in milk, meat, vegetables and cereals, and variable in water content according to the soil content of the iodine. Okay, so these are all the food rich in iodine content. Next slide. So which food we should avoid? Previously, like there is a group of vegetables called as brassica group, which is like cauliflower, cabbage, radish. They contain thiocyanates and cyanoglycosides, which reduces the absorption of iodine from the intestine. But the thing is, it will be deactivated when it is by cooking the food. So most of us eat cooked things. So it is not a like big concern. Okay, uncooked contain all these chemicals which can deactivate them, but cooking will reduce it. Okay, so that's about like the management part. Okay, so now what we have seen is the thyroid gland and its function, and what and all the hormones it is secreted. Okay, and what influence it has in the female thing, and which type of at what period of time the thyroid will cause problem in the female. Okay, so next slide. So again, coming to the questions which common doubts people can have. So will I able to conceive if I have hypothyroidism? Definitely you will be able to conceive. So anyway, it is detected and it is easily treated, and definitely you can have conceive. Okay. So thyroid, because a lot of people will come like I have hypothyroid, can I conceive? But it is like that is thyroid is not only the single factor which will decrease the fertility rate, but if thyroid is there, that hypothyroidism there, no, not an issue, definitely you can conceive. Okay, will the child be affected? I said immediately after your pregnancy test become positive, everyone will check for the thyroid and it will be corrected at an earlier stage. Only if it is an untreated or an undiagnosed thing can lead to a child with decreased IQ and a low performance in school can happen later in the life. So the treatment for thyroid. So how long the treatment has to be continued? Actually, mostly it is lifelong. So once it is started, mostly there will be necessity to continue for a lifelong. In between, we do tests to adjust the dosage. Okay, so so that is the thing. Next, I think those are all the concerns regarding the thyroid gland. Okay, before concluding this topic, so we are all now in a pandemic state. So please take care of yourself. Wear mask, hand sanitizer, and do social distancing. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a very insightful session which we had just observed now. Before proceeding ahead, I guess we are joined by our club advisor, Meera ma'am. Ma'am, if you're listening to us, welcome to you. Thank you for joining us. We can take up certain questions now and we can discuss about the topic. Okay, I have lost track of the questions. I guess few of you can repeat it. Okay, I have got it. I'm sorry. Mary Sonia has asked, can intake of iodized salt replace the supplements of iodine?
Yes, definitely. Actually, this was government's initiative, okay, to address the common problem. Okay, it will definitely supplement the iodine, but apart from this, we have to take healthy vegetables and healthy thing which can maintain the level in the body. Okay, so that is generally for all the people in the country, but individually we have to concentrate on a healthy food. That's it.
Okay. One more question is hyperthyroidism fatal?
If undiagnosed the heart, okay, so there will be like increased heartbeat. If it is not taken care or untreated, definitely it can go for arrhythmias. That is again a fatal thing.
But why is it such that, mom, if people have problems of thyroid, immediately they link it with death? Maybe because the statistics of death after getting affected by thyroid is more. Is it so? Is it actually true that most of the people who are found with a thyroid problem, is it that they are going to die? Uh,
See, hypothyroidism is it's a very in a very high level you can have some problem, but we don't see people with high level of hypothyroidism. All will be like very minimal value which is easily treated. Okay, and maximum symptoms I said is like that weight gain, sleepiness. Okay, and when it is not treated or not diagnosed at right time will be like, it is not fatal also, I can say. It is like easily, before that they will definitely come to a doctor with any of the symptoms. Okay, so not at all fatal, but hyperthyroidism is little bit like it has to be like well within control, under monitoring and everything. Okay, but
the
not at
weight
all
gain is
fatal.
in hyperthyroidism, right? Weight
But
gain.
what?
Weight
Weight
gain,
gain
is
is
it in
hypo. Okay,
Okay.
hyper is weight loss.
Okay. So again, there are some questions.
Graves disease they have asked.
If kids get it, can it be cured at the early stage? Is one question which has come up. If the kids are
Hypo
fully,
or yeah, once you start your medications, within a month you will see that will be like it would have come to a normal state. Okay, half the thing will be reduced. Then again, and of course everything comes with physical activity and physical fitness, everything comes, but it is easily curable. It is not going to like once you are on medication, it is not going to cause any trouble.
we have a question from most respected and beloved Dr. Meenakshi Bharat, ma'am. I'm happy
On MTC, how will be on a stem can women are hypothyroid?
Yeah. Okay. So hypothyroidism, usually you will be prescribed a thyroxine tablet. Okay. It comes in different brand name. Okay. So different titration value will be there, starting from 12.5 mcg. Different, I mean 25, 50, 75, everything will be there. So it has to be taken in an empty stomach. And from the intake of tablet to the breakfast will be what usually they say is 60 minutes gap. So it increases the absorption of the whatever hormone is in the tablet. Okay. So from the intake to the breakfast will be 60 minutes. Okay. So if not 60 minutes, at least a 30 minutes should be there. And the next question, the diet, what all that can affect the intake of the, I mean, what all food that can cause hypothyroidism. Okay, previously it was like a bigger concern about the cauliflower and the cabbage. So they usually say, please don't take cauliflower, cabbage, that is going to again increase your, they are considered as goitrogens. So as I told in the last slide, they have chemicals which can be deactivated by inactivated by cooking. So now the concern is like you can take it, okay, but it is not only about cauliflower and cabbage. It is not, you cook it and eat it. Otherwise, take all the healthy foods, all the green vegetables, okay, and seafoods are rich in iron content, okay, whatever like seafoods and other that's all the green vegetables and what colored fruits and everything will have a good iodine content so that the thyroid hormones are formed well. Yes.
I got to know that I have a bad network. I request Apurva to take up the question answers. Kindly
What about
leave them
tofu,
as
ma'am? What about tofu?
No, that is also like not a thing. Okay, you. Thank you.
So, ma'am, there's one question in the chat box that is one of your slides mentioned about Graves' dishes. What is it?
Yeah, Graves' disease, as I said, that is a hyperthyroidism. So, Graves' disease is again an autoimmune hyperthyroidism. The autoimmune means the antibodies are formed against our own body cells that will be formed against the thyroid gland. It will attack the thyroid glands and destroy all the thyroid cells, and it will cause release of excessive hormones. So that will result in an hyperthyroidism. Okay, so Graves' disease is an hyperthyroidism. Okay, so that will be like more secretion of the thyroid hormones in the body. It will result in swelling also. Okay, so the most common hyperthyroidism state is the Graves' disease, and again it can be treatable.
Yes, ma'am. So the other question is medicines, is it for lifelong? So in any stage?
Yeah, that's what I told you. Like medicine, we say it temporarily. Some people, the normalcy they will attain and they'll stop. Again, after some time, they will come with the hypothyroidism. So it will mostly they have to take it for lifelong.
And people say,
and constantly they have to undergo the blood test. As I said, like how frequently, like once in 6 months or at least once in a year, they have to undergo if they already are on treatment. It keeps on fluctuating, so we have to adjust the dose accordingly.
what about the kids, ma'am? You told that can be curable for kids. So that medicines also will be for lifelong?
For the kids, so kids, if it is like they have congenital, the chances of improvement are not. If it is like acquired, like in the age, like during pubertal stage only, mostly they will show. For them also same treatment and it is correctable. If it is congenital, it can't be. Like cretin child, I told you, that and all cannot be corrected. But if it is an acquired during the growth phase or sometime, it is curable. They have to take medicine, and that is for them also. It will be for a lifelong.
There's one more question, ma'am. People say thyroid affected ones undergo memory loss. Is it true?
Not like during when the thyroid hypothyroidism is not treated, okay, they will have forgetfulness, not memory loss. Okay, so increased weight gain, sleepy and forgetfulness are common, but once they treat, they will it is all like sorted out, and they don't go for a memory loss as such. They'll have forgetfulness.
What about people say that if thyroid is there, they will not be recognized by heart diseases. They will not get to know their heart diseases until it is a extreme stage.
No, hyperthyroidism is very much symptomatic. They will have this palpitation, increased heartbeat. Hypo, before it affects the heart, anyway, the other symptoms will definitely bring it to doctor. Okay, it is not like that.
I have a question, ma'am. I am a vegetarian now. Among the food which you showed, most of it is seafood, which is out of my menu at any point of
Okay.
time. So there are many of my friends who are here who are pure veg. So what food, which vegetables do you suggest us to intake?
See, that's why I showed you the goiter belt. Okay, so the soil and the water both contain iodine. Okay, so definitely all the vegetables will have iodine in a little bit pack. Okay, the higher content will be there in the seafood, but the soil and the water, the soil, whichever plant, grown in the soil, they will definitely have a little bit of iodine in the food. Okay, and then iodized salt anyway, everyone are using it.
If there are any questions, kindly feel free to leave it here. I have one
Hello,
more question.
I have one question, Srinidhi. I
Yes,
joined in
ma'am.
the middle. I haven't heard the doctor completely. Does it affect the fertility?
Yeah. So that's what I was telling you. So infertile people who are not able to conceive. Okay. So mostly when they are like investigated, they have little, hypothyroidism. So hypothyroidism will hinder in ovulation. Okay. That is the formation of egg. And one is, since hypothyroidism is closely related to the menstrual disorders, so they will have a problem. But if it is like corrected, then again, like, and this infertility people, it doesn't come alone, they will have multiple problem. But if thyroid is there, it is treatable, it is detected and treatable. But they will have problem in, since the menstruation cycle is altered, they will have problem in ovulation.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
And I guess this is the last question. If we have any more questions, we can entertain it. Okay, before I could ask, John Daniel sir has asked, is there any operation available for the correction of thyroid?
Thyroid. So as I told, there are something in hyperthyroid. If you see, I have to put as a nodular goiter or adenoma. Okay, those are like very like toxic nodular goiter. So in that case, what they do is they remove that part of the thyroid. That is called thyroidectomy. That is removal of the thyroid, because they become very overactive and keep on secreting more amount of hormones. Hyperthyroidism are little bit dangerous. Okay, so in that case, they remove that thyroid hormone, that is called as thyroidectomy. One more condition is carcinoma, that is cancer, malignancy. So in that case also they remove it, and after that they will treat with the.
Good evening, doctor.
Good evening.
Yeah, I am a biology teacher in high school. I just wanted to know how could I explain about thyroid disorders for high school students? Like many of them have this premenstrual syndrome. I mean, how do I actually explain to them about that?
So this premenstrual syndrome again is a separate version. Okay, so if you want to explain about the thyroid, like hypothyroid, usually this nowadays that age of menarche is around like 10 to 12 years. Okay, so you are telling high school student means definitely stress will again this lead to like this hypothyroidism. You can see all these things when it is related to stress. Okay, mostly these girls comes with a hair fall, weight gain, decreased concentration in the school, and increased fatigueness, increased sleepiness. Okay, so these all can the symptoms of these adolescent girls. So you can just educate if they have and along with menstrual disturbances, scanty menstruation or long period, the cycles will be different. Not once a month cycle, it will be like a 45 days, 60 days.
PCODs, no, doctor?
Yeah, that is again separate entity. So one is anemia, hypothyroid, PCOS. So all these will have more of similar symptoms. PCOS is a separate topic. If you want, I can do it in a later stage, because many have PCOS nowadays. All like from starting from 16 years, because of all the junk foods and everything, oily foods, junk foods, pesticides, or whatever it is, many come with PCODs. Okay, and if you see, these all have like a like more or less similar symptoms. Okay, fatigueness, increased weight, menstrual disorder. So whenever they come with these symptoms, we evaluate for both and we treat it. But these are all the symptoms that they have to be like worried of: weight gain, menstrual disturbances, decreased concentration in the classroom. Okay, so that is the thing.
Yeah. Thank you so
Dr.
much.
Monita Hetchen has raised a question. Is there any relationship between the gut health and Hashimoto thyroiditis?
Constipation. So as a Hashimoto's is a hypothyroidism, that is a decreased secretion. Constipation they will have. So once the thyroid level becomes normal, they will have a normal bowel habits.
And I guess the last question for the day is there any exercises which you recommend to the patients of hyper and hypothyroidism, which they can, of course, I know hyper, they will get to know in the later stage and it is not possible, but hypo, especially if they are very much concerned about their body. So is there any exercise which you would recommend to them?
See, it is basically maintain. What I can say is always eat healthy foods. It starts from the beginning, like even in the younger, from the childhood, like give them healthy foods. Okay, don't introduce them to junk foods. Okay, so that is from the like when they are growing only. If they are introduced to all these food, later on when they become adult, pubertal and adolescent stage, they will have all these problems. So eat healthy, physical and activity. There is nothing specific for thyroid. Everything when you keep fit, this PCOS, hypothyroidism, everything is like it is not, it will not become a big issue in later part of their life. So that's like from the beginning of the life, in the childhood stage only they should be introduced to the healthy habits like eating healthy and be preferably home food and like good exercise and everything. Nothing like specific to the thyroid.
And I guess there is one question, is increase in the heartbeat a sign of having thyroid disorder?
So I have mentioned many symptoms in an hyperthyroidism. Okay, it is not particularly increase in heartbeat alone. Mainly the eye sign will be there. There will be protruding of the eyeball, along with many other symptoms. Intolerance to heat, weight loss, diarrhea, tremors, fine tremors will be there. Okay, and increased heart rate. When you club all these together, it could direct towards an hyperthyroidism. So in spite of guessing what could be, you can take just this test, simple thyroid function test. It will just show how is the thyroid status. And it is like around like 500 to 600 in most of the labs, the thyroid function test. And like easily it can be diagnosed.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a very insightful and a very refreshing session. Of course, many of the fear of few have gone, few have become a little more active and interested to know a little more about the topic, and I'm pretty sure that they will work on their health. So before proceeding ahead with the vote of thanks, we have a small certificate of gratitude to you from our side. Thank you for joining us, and please keep supporting us always. And please do come. We know that we have learned from Sahil that you are wishing to take few more sessions. So we'll be happy to have you in the upcoming weeks. Every week we are planning to take a session, and really happy to have you here today. Once again, thank you from Art Club, Rotary Club, Bangalore, Shesharipuram. And I request Protractor Lavanya, Secretary, to present the vote of thanks if we do not have any more questions to be taken. Apurva, do we have any questions or shall we wind up?
There is one small question maybe that can be taken up. Are millets safe to consume for hypothyroids?
Millets.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, they can have. But see, everything, if it is consumed in a higher state, I can't say. Everything should be in a balanced state. That's one. Okay, nothing concerned about millet, especially in thyroids. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. I request the secretary to present the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Srinidhi. I would like to express the gratitude on behalf of Rotary Club of Bangalore, Sheshadipuram, to the speaker of the day, Dr. Nandini Ravindran ma'am, who graced us with the effective guidance on hyper and hypothyroid and how to overcome and treatments related as is the need of the hour. Thank you for such an effective and informative session, ma'am. And would like to thank Sahil for providing the contact of the speaker. Thank you so much, ma'am. And well, I make a sense of appreciation to our young and energetic club advisor, Rotarian Meera ma'am. Thank you for joining, ma'am. I take privilege.
Thank you for inviting me. It was nice interacting with all of you. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. I take privilege to thank the honorable Rotarians present here, Rotarian John Daniel, sir, Rotarian Yuvan John Daniel, ma'am, Rotarian Meenakshi Bharat ma'am. Thank you all for joining in this session. And would like to thank Retractor Srinidhi, President of Rotary Club of Bangalore, Sheshadipuram, Retractor Apurva, IPP, and Project 3 Chair, and the team members of Projects 3, Retractor Manaswini, President-elect. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are. Please
Yeah,
proceed.
Retractor Manaswini, President-elect. Retractor Pooja John, President-elect of Rotary Club of Bangalore, Kalyan. And well, thank you, Retractor Rakshit, for that wonderful invocation song. I make a sense of appreciation to past President Nishit. Thanks for joining. And would like to thank President and Secretaries of other clubs, prospective members of RCBS, and all my fellow retractors and non-retractors as well. Thank you all for joining in this session. Again, thanks to everyone for being here. Hope all stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you all. Over to President Srinidhi.
Thank you to Retractor Lavanya for a vote of thanks. I would also like to recognize the presence of co-ZRR Retractor Chandramuthu. So thank you, Chandru, for being here with us today. And to all the elders in the teaching fraternity, my teachers who have joined, thank you once again for joining us. Please keep supporting the projects of RCBS. This is a project for women, and we wish to see that this project is helpful to as many as possible. And to all the new retractors of our club who have done a wonderful job in organizing today's session, thank you all. Thank you all. We will meet once again in the next week with a new topic and a new speaker, or a speaker who has been guiding us previously. See you all in the next week. Thank you all.